protest marking 35 years of the Saba Saba movement in Kenya turned violent, resulting in at least 11 deaths, 567 arrests, dozens of injuries, and widespread chaos in many areas. Generation Z took to the streets demanding reforms, while the police were accused of using excessive force and firing at civilians.
The Kenyan police force has announced that at least 11 people have died and 567 have been arrested in recent anti-government protests. Police opened fire on the protesters. Earlier, Dr. Aaron Sikuku, who works at the Eagle Nursing Home on the outskirts of Nairobi, shared that his facility had received 2 bodies that died from gunshot wounds. He added that hundreds of protesters had gathered in front of the hospital gate, demanding the removal of the bodies from the premises. The current protests also mark the 35th anniversary of the historic demonstration movement called Saba Saba, meaning 7-7, which took place on July 7, 1990, marking the beginning of efforts to promote multi-party democracy in Kenya. In a statement released on Monday evening, police praised their officers for their restraint and high professionalism in the face of prolonged violence and provocation from the protesters. The statement said 52 police officers and 11 civilians were injured in the clashes.
We wanted peaceful demonstrations, but now tear gas is all over. We can't work. We're being shot with bullets. Ruto should humble himself and listen to Gen Z.
This water cannon truck has been operating along this highway for hours, where angry crowds of protesters have been blocking the road, setting fire to tyres. Police have been responding with tear gas and with the water cannon. And it's a similar story on several of the main roads leading into Nairobi and also in several other towns and cities.
Meanwhile, the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, KHRC, a state agency, reported that at least 10 people had died. The agency published a strongly worded report condemning the excessive use of force by the police, stating that this has become a widespread issue in the current wave of protests. According to the report, on Monday, police officers were allegedly operating in plain clothes, using unmarked vehicles, and were believed to be collaborating with armed gangs in Nairobi, Kajiado, Nakuru, Kiambu, and Eldoret. Police had previously denied such accusations. Additionally, the report noted evidence of at least 2 abduction cases, along with 29 people injured and 37 arrests across various towns in the country. From early morning, hundreds of commuters and overnight travelers were stranded at checkpoints, some of which were more than 10 kilometers, 6 miles, from the city center. Only a few vehicles were allowed to pass through these checkpoints. Roads leading to key government locations, including the official residence of the President, Parliament House, and the Kenyan National Assembly, were blocked with barbed wire. Some schools advised students to stay home amid the unrest. In the capital, clashes broke out in many areas between police and protesters. Protesters lit fires and attempted to breach security barricades. Police responded with tear gas and water cannons. According to Kenya's leading newspaper, Nation, the protests have spread to 17 out of 47 counties. In Meru County, eastern Kenya, a shopping center in the town of Makutano caught fire intensely, with thick black smoke billowing from the building. In Olkalu town, one protester died from a gunshot wound, and another was injured but survived. In Kamukunji, near the Nairobi location where the original Saba Saba protest took place, police clashed with protest groups who were lighting fires and occupying the streets. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who was expected to appear at the event, was forced to cancel his plans due to roadblocks throughout the town, making it difficult for anyone to reach Kamukunji. Nonetheless, he did not hold back from criticizing Kenya's rogue police force for shooting innocent people, a force inherited from the colonial regime. At the same time, he called for a national dialogue to reform the police force. Mr. Odinga was arrested after the first Saba Saba protest in 1990, but last year publicly supported the current government. By mid-morning on Monday, hundreds of passengers remained stuck on the roads. Some long-distance buses stopped in the Kabete area, about 13 kilometers from the city center, and many passengers, unable to afford motorcycle taxis, stayed behind. In a statement released Sunday evening, police affirmed their constitutional duty to protect citizens' lives and property while maintaining public order. Monday's protest was largely organized by youth from Generation Z, demanding more effective governance, greater accountability, and justice for victims of police violence. This is a continuation of the anti-government protest wave that began last year. On June 25, at least 19 people were killed, and thousands of businesses looted and destroyed during a nationwide protest commemorating victims killed during last year's tax protests. On Sunday, the KHRC headquarters in Nairobi, where a press conference led by women's groups had been held to call for an end to state-led violence before Monday's protest, was attacked by an armed gang. KHRC spokesperson Ernest Cornell said the group had at least 25 people, moved by motorbike, and shouted, "There will be no protest today." He said, "They carried stones, clubs, and stole laptops, phones, and some valuables belonging to journalists present." The 1990 Saba protest movement was a key milestone that paved the way for multi-party democracy in Kenya after many years of one-party rule. At the time, President Daniel Arap Moi's administration responded brutally. Many protesters were arrested, and at least 20 people were believed to have been killed. Since then, Saba Day has become a symbol of resistance and the struggle for democratic freedom in Kenya.